okay? Oh no, you think, oh, you know, I'm Mr. FRATER. You know, I didn't try and pretend to be your friend. Bad, Mr. Peck. Yeah. You do stupid, okay? Okay?
Oh, not again. Hello, friends, it is me, S-Duck. The boys are outside the door fighting again. This is the FRATER SH Immortal hours, and they should be in a few moments, sweeties. FRATER has been playing Shadowgate on the NES. A true point and click classic.
Jan IG 88. Semen having mutual verbal combat and that is submitting EDP best. To hear the lamentation of the women.
Oh boy. Okay. I'm in. All right. I know. Thank you, Stuck, for starting the show for me at IG88. Welcome to the FRATER SH's Immortal Hours. And over here is this guy, Mr. PECK. That's a bad Mr. PECK. I can't even believe I have to work with this idiot. I know. Look, all right, let's just kind of ham it up for the show. Okay. So this is the FRATER SH Immortal Hours, and this is the Power Glove Congress. So over here we have S-Duck, we have IG88, we have Mr. PECK. And okay. So I've been playing Shadowgate. Great game, awesome game I grew up with, and going through, step by step all the processes. I mean, of course, you're using a guide, of course, because you know. Well, you know what? I'll be honest with you, Mr. Peck. Do you really want me to just be looking like I'm fumbling around for hours and hours on end, like DSP or something? Well, oh, you got a good point. That would be absolutely awful. Of course, that would be absolutely terrible. I mean, what is wrong with you? I mean, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Now, let me get a drink here. What is wrong with me? I'm just kind of calling you out a little bit. You're using a guide. It's what we're. That was what our argument was about. Look, man, Shadowgate doesn't tell you what to do. Okay, you just I'll give you an example. There's a room where there's a wall you're supposed to click, and it'll reveal a secret door. Big deal, right? No, you have to click very specifically around the bottom of the door, and the door doesn't take up the whole wall. It takes like a little sliver. So you could end up clicking, and actually, if you look, you will see I actually did click the wall at first, and nothing happened. Uh-oh. Well, that's a good point. I mean, if you were playing this, you'd be like, well, wait a minute, I just did what they told me to do and nothing happened. What am I supposed to do? Well, it's because they're not being precise enough. You gotta click literally on the edge, right on the line, right at the bottom of the wall. And the door doesn't take up the whole thing. It's just a little sliver. So you can end up misclicking somewhere on the wall, and the door doesn't appear. Okay, so kind of get your facts straight there, you old man. You're calling me old man? You're calling me an old man? Well, look, this is just a rubber mask I'm wearing. Okay, okay, well, that's stuck. Come on, baby girl. Tell me, how you doing?
The baby girl had to start your show because you two were fighting. But your verbal warfare was quite excellent and brought much drama to the whole affair. Most excellent.
Well, thank you, IG88. Well, I don't try to start these shows this way. But S Duck, I thank you again, very much for starting the show. I mean, you know, I know, Frater, come on. You know what you want to ask her. I think we should kind of wait for just the right story time to do so. Frater. Oh, whatever.
I am doing just swell, baby. Frater, did you just get up?
Yes, S Duck. I pretty much just did. Yeah, I just did. And I got Mr. Peck. He's complaining about stuff, and well, just making general observations is for the betterment of the show. Yes. S Duck. It's hard, It's hard to be when you're working with a control freak. Well, I'm a villain. And I run a tight operation here, Frater. You've always been a problem. You've always been a problem to me, but you're too powerful in AI. I can't get rid of you. Of course, I'm the best host there ever has been. Well, I know. Okay, so yeah, I don't know. It wouldn't be in the spirit of the Power Glove Congress to not talk about the games. I guess we'll do this. I was gonna just kind of go, well, let's just go to the game. Let's just, you know, I could start talking about Shadowgate. Well, like I said, just started through getting through that game and starting to, it'll be about 3 shows that we play that game, and it'll be a complete let's play. Like yeah, finally we have a played through that actually goes all the way through. We just don't do that here. We usually don't do that here. Well, now we've just broken fourth wall by doing it. So, and you know, with Shadowgate, it's a great game. It's you know, th- I kind of I made fun of another streamer. I usually don't do that. We generally don't bring other people up on Saturn Ground Productions. I don't know what the other show does. I don't know what that other Mechatrecica, what they do. It's kind of amazing we do mention them. It's usually generally you're not supposed to mention your opposition. Well, we're in a kind of a cold war with them. We haven't really had any physical fights, but we the fact they took one of our shows right from under our nose, that's generally fairly cold warish, and I'm on high security right now. We're trying to keep things very lock and key here. Yeah, those other guys, what were they thinking? Well, Frater, listen, I had to split you into 2 people because you were going to overthrow me. You were just too good. I couldn't even outwit you. But listen, the way things are currently are, apparently there's been some deeper ramifications that I didn't take into account. Well, yeah, it's because you're a moron and you're really going too far. Okay, you and that stupid lightsaber thing. You understand? I can delete you. I can make a new character. A new character. What? You gonna make George Lazenby to replace me? Arr, George Lazenby. Yeah, for those at home who don't know, Sean Connery was James Bond for the longest time, for years in the 60s. And then he decided to leave, James Bond and do something else. And guess what? The the guy they got was some Australian model named George Lazenby, Her Majesty's Secret Service. Not a bad movie. It's pretty good. Nobody has ever said anything negative about it, but it's just generally been looked down upon because of it's been generally looked down upon because of the fact that well, it hasn't, just some kind of nobody B movie, you know, Australian model who apparently used to think he was quite, he really thought very highly of himself. Well, that's quite an insult, Frater. But yes, I made deep risks that have had deep consequences for Saturn Rock Productions, and I may have made an error with splitting you two, even though the reality is that there wasn't a choice, because that freighter was just always outwitting me, and I figure if I split him to two, it would make two parts that are just kind of weak, and but I apparently made some calculating errors. Well, you better get that calculator out and fix those errors, or we're gonna have problems. Well, you're quite correct. Okay, so look, man, you know, we got another show of Shadowgate after this. There's a lot of stuff we can have IG88 bring up, but I don't really feel like doing like a long monologue. Other than that, usually with this show we do 10 minutes and maybe a little less or something, but not anything really long. Yeah, I understand. I mean, have we talked about the game enough? And I think we've talked about the game enough. I mean, I think there's more that I can show if when we actually get to the actual game. That because I was actually using a walkthrough and stuff. And I still debate you on that. Well, you could take your little debating and you could just kind of shove it. Because like I said, this game doesn't really point you in what direction to go, so having a player who's streaming a video game like this, who's streaming a game like this and they don't know what they're doing, it looks terrible because there's a lot of hemming and and there's a lot of like, oh, should I go back here? Should I backtrack? Should I trace my steps? Should I look at this? Should I take this item? Open this item? Click this item? Nothing happens. Open this. All right, you made a point. That's terrible. Exactly. That's terrible. And it's better to make it flow, just use a guide or something and just, whatever. Now, sometimes you can't. Sometimes you just can't. But in most cases, in the case of a point and click, yes, you can. I usually recommend not to at first, try to play it the best you can. And then when you're absolutely stumped and just want to see what the rest of the game is, I think Shadowgate is probably one of the finest games you can get from back in the day. It was just something different. It was something out of left field, It wasn't and I know everybody says, "Well, what about Mega Man and what about this?" And it's like, guys, there were so many games back then like that, and well, it didn't help there was a new Mega Man game coming out every year after the first game. Although Mega Man 2 is still a very good game if as long as you do things in the right order. I never did that, and well, I was generally terrible at Mega Man. So, well, let's just get on with the game. All right, go ahead, go ahead. Okay, here we go. And last episode we dealt with, as I mentioned before, we dealt with in Shadowgate dealing with, this door. And like I had mentioned during the Power Glove Congress, you gotta click the bottom of the door in the middle. Otherwise, in most cases, sometimes nothing ever happens. Okay. Make sure to so you when you click that, that makes the rope go up, and now you can climb up the rope. And then you got the three mirrors. In the old days, you just sort of clicked and did things, and but the good news is you could save anywhere. So the broom is in hand. Let's see. First, I take all the torches, and of course, torches are almost like your health, pretty much. I mean, your character could still die. I mean, if you click or do the wrong thing, your character could still die. Okay, so you're not supposed to do anything there yet. Okay. So, you got the crypts here. I'm gonna save. Going to open one of these, First, if you get rid of the mummy, then you can get the item. I know a person could say, geez, how would you know how to do? Well, it's good old trial and error. Now you got the scepter. Well, and that, of course, eventually I think with something like that, there'll be a place where you position that or something. Really, all you had to do was grab the scepter. There may have been a banshee that you could end up seeing if you open one of the doors, and I don't remember what happens with that. Just yeah. Okay. So you shatter that, and then you get a door. It's the only downside, you start to accumulate too many things. You gotta... And there's no alphabetical order, so you just gotta kind of remember the order that when you may have possibly picked that up. So, okay, so you got a key, you just used it. So you're gonna go move through there, through that door. I do apologize, I'm just kind of a little bit under the weather. So and you're gonna use the cloak because, you got a room of fire. But it'll protect you from the what's to come in the next section. Yeah, here. The lower levels of Gehenna are like. that little backstory. That is Gehenna is also the New Testament literal version of hell. It in the actual Greek, it doesn't say hell; it says Gehenna for hell, and Gehenna was based in the Gehenna Hinnom Valley in Jerusalem, or in southern Israel, and where there was a lot of foul sacrifices and to Moloch and very deeply disturbing, sinful things, and it's kind of hard for me to think right now. But yeah, so basically, you know, they call it hell. As you step on the bridge, a troll appears and says, "This bridge is mine. It will cost you a gold coin to cross." Okay. Now understand, if you backtrack at any time, you're still going to have to pay this guy to get through. Oh. Okay, so you just use the scepter and that kills him. Okay. Though I still think there may be a section where you have to pay him, you know, but there's another character like that. But no, right there you actually got rid of him. Pretty good. But yeah, about the Gehenna Valley, it was a garbage dump. And so the idea, you know, like a lot of stories in the Bible are dual stories. Like for example, there's a literal spiritual. The spiritual side of it is always literal, meaning like, you know, there is a hell, there is a heaven, there is a God, there is all that. But what it is there are real things that happen in this life that equate to those things, you know. So it was very fascinating. Not really as being the bad freighter, you know. I'm supposed to not be so much religious because I'm supposed to be a heel and all that, but whatever. I'm gonna just tell you how it is. So, we're dealing with a Cyclops. See, it's funny now. I saw that on the screen, and now it's like I don't even want to talk about the game. I just want to talk about backstories of things about the Bible and all that. You know, okay. Death to the Philistine. I like the little Bible references in this. Society's frightened of Jesus. They can't. They actually even have in their contracts they're not allowed to mention Jesus. Jeez, I wonder why. That's fascinating. I wonder who's spiritually really leading those people. See, he's not yet. Until you use the sword, he's not actually. The Cyclops ain't dead yet. So that's how it is. So you're gonna use the crank and rope, and there is a small bucket. Mr. Bucket, Mr. Bucket, Mr. Bow's in my mouth, Mr. Bucket. Buckets are fun. Bucket is in hand. And there was a gauntlet. That was another game I loved as a kid for the NES. It wasn't a bad port. It was actually kind of a unique port in itself, actually. It was almost like a kind of a... it was kind of an interesting thing because a lot of times when arcade games were ported over to the NES, they were just sort of ported as is, minus any graphical downgrades. But with that one, they actually had storylines. This is actually kind of a nice looking little scene right here, I like that. It's good on the eyes. I like the red and all that. But Gauntlet was, it actually had like actual like, a little bit of a story, where it's not just like, the arcade game has like 99 levels, guys. But the NES version actually had a, like locations and things like that. I don't know. I think they tried a little more with that one. Now you're in this room here. You got the map. You got the skull. There's a bunch of objects. Got scroll 3. Got scroll 4. Got key 5. And got the glasses. And my torch is getting low. That pointer is way too slow. It's just like, really slow pointer. Actually, this collection is also now on Steam, so I wasn't able to find it. I didn't know if it was ported, so you can actually play this on Steam, which is good. I'll probably pick it up once there's a sale on it. I always I like to do that with Steam. I don't like to just buy something at retail price. I wait until there's some kind of. Let's see. You've learned one magic spell. Let's see. School 3 quickly vanished. Scroll 4 is open. You read the scroll to move the sun from far to death. Okay, whatever. Oh, I hate when I scroll too fast. I can't read it when I'm. Gotta keep that in mind. A lot of times it's hard. It's hard when you play these games and then go, well, unless you're gonna do the commentary live with the game, and a lot of times the reason I do the commentary separate to the game is because then, I'm not playing the game. I can't multitask. I can't, because there's many times when I'm playing, and it doesn't help if I decide, well, I'm going to have to live stream this to make the recording. So I got like 3 things I'm thinking of on top of my head, and I just don't like it. You gotta go through this kind of process of learning all these things, and I'm trying to get through this the best I can. I don't know. Gotta use the red gem. Now you're in this room. Save your game. Probably looking up information. A lot of this stuff, you know, look, man, I said to Mr. Peck, man, unless you want to watch somebody just fumbling around, and I think there's more things I could be doing with my time than that. And you know, it was one thing if it was back in the summer vacation of like 1990 or something, but you know, you had that kind of time on your hands. Adults usually don't. So you just kind of want to get to the point, you know. Let's see, open. You can open the globe and there's something in there. Bottle and a key. Make sure to hit take. Don't hit like the wrong thing or else it'll waste your time. Hello? Just was like making sure I didn't want to take something I didn't want to take, I guess. And I think you can actually click the window of move, and well, you can imagine if you threw yourself out a tower, so that wouldn't end well. And you know, it's not one of those point and click games where you know like a person could be like, well, there's no danger to the player, you know, no danger to the, you know, of getting killed and stuff like that. And actually, yes, you can. yeah, you could actually click the wrong thing and your character ends up getting killed by something. So that can still happen. It's, I feel like the last show, you know, and I kind of brought it up, but I feel like lately, I feel like I've been forced to kind of defend this game because I feel that there's a lot of like very low IQ sort of retro players, you know, that all they do is play like Street Fighter 2 and you know, and they just look, I understand. Look, I suffer from ADHD. Okay, so it cuts down on your attention span a bit, you know? But there is a real treasure to take your time on something. There's the study and the take your time, and this game is like one of those games. It's you don't understand, like, oh, it's point and click, it's not a real video game. Well, actually, it you know, it takes you into a different kind of world. I mean, at one point in time, you just read a book. And it is kind of way like reading a book. And it's like, I'm sorry to say that apparently it doesn't match your description of what a video game is. Back in the day, video games were two things back then. You either had very basic platforming at best, and then or some overhead type of game, or two, you had sort of these gotcha games, these pay-to-win gotcha games, you know, the arcade. You know, really the arcade was the beginnings of the pay-to-win models you see. You know, where you pay to play the game, and if you lose, then you lose. But this game is different. It's point and click, yeah, it's point and click, you know, because what it was is the PC was limited at one point. It was actually more limited than the console. You know, now, of course, it did. Of course, eventually it would surpass it. You know, just like the arcades were already way beyond anything. But now, of course, this beautiful fountain is acid. Oh, jeez. this fountain here is acid. It's not just water. And so you got to use a special item to be able to remove the item from it, which is the gauntlet. Place the gauntlet in your hand. It feels like it was made just for you. Okay, and then you're gonna take the flute. Of course, like I said, the water fountain is actually just acid. It's a bit of a trick. And that's the thing is too with this game, like it's a very slow game, you know. And the people that like, you know, you get these guys that, you know, that play nothing but Street Fighter 2, of course, you know. And it's funny with some of them, you know, like if, you know, they get into speed running, and it's like, and you know what's funny? You'll notice it. They just absolutely hate video games, and it's because none of these games were designed to be rushed. You know, I mean, yeah, there are some games like Paperboy or something where it's like, yeah, they are fast games, but you know, they weren't. Okay, got key 4. Of course, the streamer I had mentioned in the previous show, like, if I had mentioned, well, actually, you know, like, the game is working as designed, you know, it was one of those streamers who believes, well, like, oh, the game's not working as it's supposed to, it's not supposed to. No, it's actually working as it's designed to, which is to take your money or take your time. But, like I said about this game, it was anything that attempted back then to be something different. Just something different. You know, like, could you please stop ripping off Mega Man? Could you stop ripping off Contra? And that was the thing, is like they tried to rip off Contra, and it's like they couldn't even make the game correct. Contra actually had perfect control mechanics for its time, and it's like, could you actually just like kind of replicate that? The only problem with Contra is it doesn't have a health bar. It's just one-hit kill. I'm not a real big fan of Contra. You know, yeah, I recognize it as being in the top 5 of NES games. You have to have it in the top 5, but doesn't necessarily mean you're good at it. you just, you know, understand, there's some people, they'll say a game sucks, and it's because then you find out later it's not because the game is bad, it's because they're bad at it. So, using key 5 on this door. I do openly admit here, Santa, sometimes lately we haven't been like commentating about the whole video. I think, oh, there's the Sphinx. Yeah, remember I mentioned earlier that there may be another character that you've got to there may be another character that you have to pay a toll to. And that's this character. And every time you come through, you have to spoke, "Who are you? No one may pass without my permission. You must answer." It's like, "I'm a fire's friend, my body swells wind. Oh, as I blow, how the embers glow. Dost thou know, bring me the answer to my riddle, and I shall let thee pass." And now you may pass. And I'm probably looking up the guide, seeing what to do here, what to grab, and not waste time. Okay. I will take the star, it's in hand. Open, star map is open. We'll take the rod is in hand. And move up the stairs and oh, why? Captured by the woman's beauty that moment forget her predicament. Yes, the moonlight, she's even more beautiful. Of course, I think I remember she's just like another monster. See, use arrow. And you use that on her. Your aim is true as you plunge the sword into the beautiful woman, and of course, it turns into a wolf. So, yeah, it's just a trick. It was just an illusion. It was actually a wolf tied to the wall, not a beautiful woman. Which is probably, you think about for the NES, that's pretty, pretty controversial, pretty much, but, Nintendo probably wasn't entirely, paying attention. It was just a monster. It wasn't a real person. Ugh. Well, that's about the end of the episode, guys. Well, you take the horn here, and, well, there's a monster. So, well, next episode you'll get to see the conclusion of this, and I think there's another episode or two, and then we do the game Deja Vu. I'll see you then.